goes under. The CBD, Suncorp Stadium, iconic buildings, suburbs. A city at the mercy of an unstoppable flood. Residents flee their homes, knowing everything will be ruined when they return.
Actually, it's quite surreal and I feel devastated. It's horrible. That's my whole life.
As we weep for what we have lost, and as we grieve for family and friends, and we confront the challenge that is before us, I want us to remember who we are. We are Queenslanders. We're the people that they breed tough north of the border. We're the ones that they knock down and we get up again. I said earlier this week that this weather may break our hearts, and it is doing that, but it will not break our will. And in the coming weeks and the coming months, we are going to prove that beyond any doubt. Together, we can pull through this, and that's what I'm determined to do, and with your help, we can achieve it. Thank you.
Once safely to the mouth of the river, the tug steered the structure towards mudflats opposite Fisherman's Island.
The criteria I used was firstly by looking at floods depiction of the 2011 floods, and that it's a really significant event in our local history. The children are given a medium basically to recall and discuss their own experiences relative to the floods, which makes this book particularly suitable for upper primary. Secondly, then I looked at how floods supports an open discussion about natural disasters in Australia and around the world. Students think critically about the kinds of natural disasters that can happen and do happen around the world then, and basically the devastating effect that this can have on local communities. Thirdly, I considered that the book Flood was shortlisted by the Children's Book Council Awards, which has its own judging criteria as well, and they primarily consider books on their literary merit, with the quality of illustrations being also quite important. And in this book in particular, the fantastic unity between the text and the illustrations really brings this story to life. And lastly, of course, I looked at how enjoyable the book was to read, so the emotive text and the beautiful illustrations, and how this was a great read for both adults and children. Starting with Jackie French, the author of Flood in 2011, her writing career actually spans more than 20 years. Jackie is the 2011 Federal Literacy Ambassador and is one of the few writers to win both Literary and Children's Choice Awards. Her vast body of work depicts both fictional and non-fictional accounts of the last 60,000 years of Australian history. Flood was written to remember the 2010-2011 Queensland floods and to commemorate the way the community banded together. The book also aims to encourage readers to be prepared for the floods, which is really great for kids, and especially since upper primary level would remember the floods. Also, the use of the watercolour illustrations by Bruce Watley really echo the themes and capture the sombre and emotional nature of the story. Watley talks about redefining how we look at heroes. He says, heroes is often misused describing athletes or performers. He believes an event like the 2011 floods has redefined our perception of local heroes. Using this content descriptor from the Australian curriculum, the text allows children to make connections between their experiences and those depicted in the flood. So students use a range of comprehension strategies, and that includes things like making inferences based on the information in the text as well as their prior knowledge. They're predicting likely future events in a text, they're visualising by creating mental images of elements in a text, and they're critically reflecting on content, structure, languages and images used to construct the meaning of the text. And flood really does achieve this through an analysis of natural disasters that's local but can be extended to include discussions of natural disasters worldwide. So students can explore the different historical, social and cultural perspectives of a natural disaster and how these may influence or impact the meaning we make from different texts and the events depicted. It's really important to make learning content relevant to students' lives, but at the same time you need to challenge them to look beyond their own lives, which is why this is such a fantastic content descriptor and how flood can really lead students into that.